In what follows, I will guide you through the exhibition, giving a tour of the works that were on view. This solo exhibition, Between a Dance and Sitting in a Chair, was not just an overview of more than a decade of work, but also a reflection on how my identities, memories, and environments in the Dutch Caribbean are shaped by the legacies of colonialism and the realities of today. My practice draws from lived experience and fieldwork, blending documentary, fiction, personal archive, and collective memory. I was in need of questioning and challenging dominant narratives documented in the past that still live on, and to bring forward different perspectives that are often excluded. Each work offers an artistic opinion on themes like migration, tourism, climate, education, belonging, and resistance. Together they form a tapestry of Caribbean life, messy, multilingual, rhythmic, and deeply human. Through the works, I aim to reclaim space, to see, to feel, and to remember differently. My way of asking myself again, can I tell a story without replicating the violences of the past? Ciudadanos. To live somewhere doesn't always mean you feel you belong. Ciudadanos is an immersive dual-channel video installation that envelops the viewer in a dense audiovisual landscape of St. Martin, where ambient city soundscapes merge with personal testimonies. Ciudadanos explores the notion of belonging in a post-colonial, hyper-mobile society. Through polyphonic layering and spatial audio, the installation creates a sensorial map of voices asking what does it mean to be a citizen in a place shaped by migration, tourism, historical rupture, and hurricanes. It creates a sonic and visual portrait of a society shaped by migration, colonial legacy, and cultural change. Susolo y Playanang. Susolo y Playanang is a documentary filmed across 7 coastal locations in Curaçao that explores the complex impact of tourism on public space and local identity. Set against the pivotal political moment of 10-10-10, the dissolution of the Netherlands Antilles, the film questions who truly has access to paradise in Curaçao and what is lost in the pursuit of progress. Don't Mix Me Up. Don't Mix Me Up is an installation set during an Aruban Carnival parade that interrogates the limits of visual representation. Through my lens, the parade appears only in fragments, glimpses of light, color, and dance. Working with darkness, rupture, and partial visibility, the piece resists documentary conventions by privileging the unseen and the incomplete. It asked whether the camera can ever capture a moment in its fullness, or if every image is inevitably shaped by bias and history. In this work, darkness becomes the site of power. What remains hidden often reveals more than what is shown. Don't Mix Me Up positions absence, silence, and shadow not as voids, but as vital to understanding the complexity of cultural performance and post-colonial subjectivity. The Unintended Audience. The Unintended Audience is a video essay built from archival footage drawn from Dutch colonial repositories. It foregrounds the politics of spectatorship, exposing the colonial gaze embedded in ethnographic and state-produced images. The work operates as both critique and reclamation, calling for the archive to be reimagined as a space for decolonial memory-making and epistemic justice. By revisiting footage from the Dutch Caribbean, it reveals how Antillean subjects were captured on film yet rarely addressed, seen, and not heard. The Unintended Audience reclaims that space, questioning who owns history, who controls the archive, and what it can mean to truly see ourselves. Moments. Moments is a single-channel coming-of-age video that interweaves personal archival material with observational footage from my childhood and adolescence. Moving between Curaçao, Aruba, and the Netherlands, it adopts a visual diary aesthetic to explore the fluidity of identity within diasporic geographies. Both personal and political, the work destabilizes linear narrative through visual fragmentation, evoking the ephemerality of memory and the complexities of growing up between the Caribbean and the Netherlands. Introspective yet collectively resonant, Moments reflects on the entanglements of lived experience and transnational memory, where identity is always in flux. Ik moet hebben. This video installation brings us into a classroom in Curacao, where Dutch is the official language of instruction, while Papiamento remains the language of emotion and home. The classroom emerges as a paradoxical space, one that both shapes and limits how we perceive ourselves. Learning multilingually is a layered experience. It broadens horizons even as it erases parts of identity, leaving traces of absence alongside new possibilities. The work reflects on colonial education systems and the courage it takes to find one's voice in them. It asks how the classroom shapes ways of thinking that influence identity, resilience, and resistance. In the installation, the viewer's shadow falls across one of the projected classrooms, partially obscuring the scene without ever erasing it. Two projections face each other, both showing me as an adult re-entering my formal school setting, writing and listening to the sound of chalk without ever seeing what is being written. The loop echoes pedagogy itself. Much is taught, yet much remains untaught. Teduki Nobo. How do we honor tradition while allowing it to transform? It's about knowledge passed down, reshaped by every generation. A quiet reflection on heritage as something living, not fixed. With Teduki Nobo, I investigate intergenerational knowledge transfer, cultural preservation, and the loss of embodied memory. This work reflects on preservation and renewal, inspired by quilting and craft practices. It looks at the tension between holding on and letting go, between a dance and sitting in a chair. This sculptural video installation invites viewer into an immersive archive of movement and memory. Built from aluminum mesh and infused with thermally treated, morphed video imagery, it brings together two traditional practices from Bonaire, the Wapa dance and the Mascarada mask-making ritual. By stepping inside this transitional space between motion and stillness, visibility and opacity, the viewer experiences how embodied traditions both anchor cultural identity and transform it. Here, past and present meet, revealing culture as something we not only inherit but also continually reshape. Tene. In this photo series, I explore sustainability through everyday practices in the Ducth Caribbean and the Netherlands. Issues such as erosion, water, and waste management are shown not only as an environmental challenge, but also as a cultural one. By documenting waste management, water scarcity, and climate resilience, Tene situates sustainability within the lived realities of those places. The series highlights how ecological degradation and social equality are deeply connected, inviting viewers to rethink climate discourse through a translocal lens. In Mi País. In Mi País transforms the guided tour into a mechanism of critique. Through a series of floating lace-covered tables, each acting as a projection surface, I offer reconfigurations of tourist tour tales of Aruba. In this installation, floating tables become projection surfaces for tour guides' text, familiar, rehearsed, and sanitized stories. Slowly, another voice breaks through, exposing the layers underneath. And Mi País operates as both a deconstruction of heritage discourse and an invitation to rethink the politics of storytelling in touristic spaces, or to imagine new ways of historic storytelling.